What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Noname back at it again with another New York Giants video. First things first, I'd like to ask y'all to please smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. Not only does it help me out and the channel by, recommending it in the YouTube algorithm so more and more people get to the vids, but it also helps you guys though when I post, so you don't have to be constantly checking my Twitter and Instagram. Shameless plug to those, follow those also. I hope you guys are being safe out there, washing your hands, wearing your masks and all that, and let's get into it. So it's been reported today, or should I say sometime yesterday, either today or yesterday, very recently. And as you guys know, at least my subscribers that have been following me for a while, Tuesdays and Fridays are like my busiest days college-wise, so which is why this vid is coming out a bit late. But it's been recently reported that Rapaport said that the New York Giants could be the dark horse of the NFC East and possibly make the playoffs. Now, before I get into that, right, because that got me a little excited. Before I get into that, shout out to Rapaport, man, because not that many people in the media are rocking with the Giants right now. It's been like that for about 2-3 years. Giants became the butt of everybody's jokes in the NFL. They've kind of become, low-key a laughing stock. And while I can understand how that happened, I mean, I've said it multiple times, ownership's bad decisions, hiring the wrong people, drafting the wrong people, signing the wrong people. Like, just a lot of wrong and bad decisions over the past 2 or 3 years that have basically caused the Giants to have a combined winning record of 16 games over the past 3 seasons. So I can see how definitely, the stature of the New York Giants and everything related to that, the reputation of it has declined in the past couple of years. But I don't get how we became the new Cleveland Browns. I mean, Cleveland is a team that's been stuck in that cycle for like 30 years. It's only been 3 for the Giants, and people already forget, the history and the lore and all that. But I'm not going to get into that. I could get into a whole rant about that. But shout out to Ian. Like I said, not that many NFL heads out there supporting the Giants. The only person before him that I can remember saying anything positive about the Giants would be Mel Kiper, and that's when he ate crow about Daniel Jones when he was arguing with Todd McShay. Todd McShay was saying Daniel Jones is a bust, something along those lines, and Mel Kiper was like, "Are you serious? Did you see him play his rookie season?" They went back and forth, but Kiper, he was just, correcting a stance that he made last year when he was one of the many people saying that Daniel Jones should not have been taken in the first round. So even then, it's like, yeah, not that many supporters. So I'm really glad to see that some of them are giving us a little bit of hope. But how much, how far off is he, or how spot on is he with his bold prediction, really? I mean, it's honestly way too early. We're only in May. The season doesn't start until September, and that's if everything goes to plan, if there are no delays in off-season programs, if the season is still, going to be played and whatnot, and I might have something out on that. But how far off is Ian? Well, to be honest with you guys, considering that with the new CBA and the new playoff rules are going into account this season, he's not that far off. I think that if everything breaks right for the Giants, they can be that 7th playoff team for the NFC. That's right, the new 7 teams in the playoffs instead of 6. It definitely brings the probability of them making it to the playoffs, a bit higher, but not by much. Like I said, it's if everything goes right. Now, what does that entail? That means this new offensive line that we got, specifically Andrew Thomas, and I'm going to assume Shane Lemieux is going to be our starting center. And then maybe, I'm guessing they're going to shift Nate Solder to the right. This new combination of offensive linemen that we brought in, it means they have to produce immediately. I don't expect them to produce immediately. In fact, I don't think the 2 new starters in Lemieux and Thomas they're not going to hit their strides probably sometime midway through the season. And that's no knock on them. You guys know I'm a big Andrew Thomas fan. It's just a fact. It takes a little while for offensive linemen to get used to their bearings and the speed of the NFL game versus the college game. So unless what's going to happen in the middle of the season with them hitting their strides happening in the beginning of the season happens, offense-wise, this playoff prediction is completely off base. Now, let's say, the offensive line does produce. Let's say that Daniel Jones does have time to sit back in the pocket. He's not getting sacked every other play. He actually has time to dissect the opposing defenses and slice and dice as much as he wants. That also means Saquon running through the middle and the left of the line is going to be really strong now. In fact, he could run practically any way through the line now. And I don't need to tell y'all what Saquon did with a terrible offensive line in 2018, 1,300 rushing yards. And then last year, an offensive line that, albeit was improved in 2018, was still a bottom-ranked line throughout the entire 32 teams of the NFL. And he was injured last year, and he still got 1,000 yards rushing. Saquon is a beast, and it's only been 2 years since he was drafted, but people are already forgetting what he can do when healthy. And people are already forgetting the potential he has, the amount of damage he can do if he's behind a good offensive line. We've already said it. If Saquon had a line like Zeke does in Dallas, it's over for the NFL. There's a very good chance that he gets 1,500, 1,700, maybe even 2,000 rushing yards, something that hasn't been done since 2009, 2010. It's been a long time. So if this offensive line produces immediately, offensive-wise, we're good. You guys already know I'm fine with our starting wide receivers, and that's another thing. If our starting wide receivers, all three of them stay healthy, that is Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, and Darius Slayton, we'll be fine. We saw the connection Daniel Jones had with Darius Slayton last year. 600, 700 yards on a rookie-to-rookie, connection, because they played together through training camp, through rookie minicamp, and then throughout the season. Darius Slayton, he could develop into a nice number 2. We're gonna be fine. He has a nice connection with Sterling Shepard. When Sterling is on the field and healthy, we're gonna be fine. Golden Tate will be there for presumably 16 games if he's healthy, not missing anything for misconduct or anything like that from the NFL. We'll be fine. It all hinges on them being healthy. Same with Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, he'll be, quite the piece to this offense. Of course, that goes back to what I said in the beginning, everything breaking right. Ingram, on his healthiest season, which was his rookie season, had 700 yards for the Giants. If he's fully healthy, he plays all 16 games. And, we all know how Jason Garrett uses his tight ends in his offense. Ingram probably is going to be on his way to a 1,000-yard season. Now that brings us over to the defensive side. What has to break right on the defense for this to happen? If everything breaks right on the defense, that means that our defensive line stays strong and healthy. They're going to continue to do what they did last year, which is, stopping the run. Hopefully they improve on that. But it also means that they get a bit of pressure. Looking at guys like Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams, they actually have to start getting pressure from the left and right end now, rather than just being, run clogging bodies. They need to start and put some pressure on the QBs. They need to start and put some heat on the neck of the QBs, especially for a guy like Leonard Williams, who we have on a franchise tag that is way too expensive for him. He's going to need to, produce for sure. And then with our outside linebackers, Kyler Fackrell, who I'm going to assume is going to be a starter, and whoever they put opposite of him, whether it's Golden, if Golden stays on and he's not signing with another team, whether it's Carter, and this might be a bold prediction, that's way too early also, but I think that Lorenzo Carter is going to have a good year next year. I think if there's anybody on the team with the potential to have double-digit sacks, it would be Carter. We have his college coach on the team, the guy who coached Carter in that 2018 college championship game. We have him on the coaching staff now, so that's definitely going to say something. But he's also the one guy that I feel like was affected the most last year by the poor coaching on the defensive side. So I feel like he might take a step forward. But going back to things breaking right, one or maybe even two of those guys are going to have double-digit sacks, in addition to the sack by committee mentality that the defense is taking on, which is going to come from the secondary also. Speaking of which, the secondary is probably a contender for strongest part of this defense now, with James Bradbury, with Jabril Peppers, Xavier McKinney, DeAndre Baker, another dude that I expect to take a front step. This secondary actually has the potential to be a top 15 secondary in the league. I already think our defensive line is a top 15 defensive line in the league, but our secondary, that becomes top 15. It's another thing that's over for the NFC East, man. But it all depends on potential. That means Xavier McKinney stepping in, he's going to have to produce right away, which I don't think is going to happen. It's not realistic for him to step in and start producing right away, for him to be all over the field like he was in college. It means Jabril Peppers is now going to have to improve a little bit. And I like Peppers as he is, but if we're going to make the playoffs, Peppers going to have to improve his man coverage and get some interceptions along with stopping the run and, good tackling and whatnot. DeAndre Baker has to have a good rebound and not let up any touchdowns. That's for sure. So, and then in the middle linebacker, I think we're actually fine in middle linebacker. I've been, it's well documented that I'm a fan of our middle linebacking core. I think we're going to be fine with Blake Martinez and Ryan Conley and David Mayo and whoever else may crack the roster. I think we're fine there. Honestly, we're going to have a lot of good tackling and good pass protection or pass coverage from the middle linebacker position. But a lot of things need to happen if this prediction by Rapaport comes through. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Definitely not out of the realm of possibility. We've seen it happen before. We've seen teams flip the script in 1 year, most notably the Jaguars. I don't necessarily say the 49ers, because the 49ers, before they got Jimmy G, or I guess before 2018, 2019, they had Jimmy G on the roster and they had a really well-established team before they went from like 4-12 to whatever their record was this year. But the Jaguars is definitely the example I'm looking at. They kind of came out of nowhere. The Giants could do that, and the Giants do have, in my opinion, a better foundation than the Jaguars did because we're younger, which means we have a lot more potential and a lot more room to grow than the Jaguars did. But I would love for this to come through, 7th seed and all of that. And in fact, that is my ceiling. I think the ceiling for the Giants is probably 9-10 wins, but my realistic prediction for them would be like 7-9. It's not out of the realm possibility though. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about Ian Rapaport saying this? Are you glad that there's finally somebody in the media on the side of the Giants? How far off do you think we are? And what in your opinion has to break right? That's it for now. Stay safe. I'm out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out. Yeah.